Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. You tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on with you, buddy?
Damn, man. Can't call it. Just coming off of the eventful weekend for my kids, man. Like they had, some little activities that they had going on, and it's just nice to see them have a good time, man. They growing into their own. My oldest, by the time this podcast come out, it'll be his birthday. So you know what I'm saying, happy 16th birthday
Absolutely.
to my oldest
Happy
boy.
birthday.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, boy. 16 years old, but yeah, man. So just trying to get some shit together for him. You know what I'm saying? Got some plans that still trying to get it all. You know what I'm saying? Situated. You know what I'm saying? This upcoming weekend. But how about you though, man? How you feeling? Everything good with you?
Man, everything great. My daughter also had her homecoming. I think this was her second one.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. This is the second one that she went to. My son didn't want to go, so you know what I'm saying. I figured maybe next year he'd get into the groove of it. But yeah, he just wanted to chill with me this weekend, so you know what I'm saying, that was cool. I was actually, hoping that he wanted to go. I told him, I got him all the way together, but you know how that is. So so you know what I'm saying, she went, she had a good time, she had fun, so you know what I'm saying, that's all that matters.
Yes, sir, man. I was worried about him going because he didn't have a date. And I was like, "You gonna be good without a date?" He was like, "Yeah," but like I had told you before, like he seems to be a very popular student at the school. So,
Hey man, not for nothing though, a lot of these kids, that ain't even how they roll now, bro.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like when I pulled up and seen like everybody all decked out, it was you could tell like it was a bunch of like kind of like crews together. You know what I'm saying? You
Like,
see about 4 or 5 dudes together. You see about 6, 7 girls. They over there hanging out. So I don't even know if it was really that type of party, really. But
right.
but yeah, man. Once I picked him up, like man, he was fucking. It was funny because I was like, "You had a good time." He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm tired." I was like, "Yeah." You must have been dancing, huh? He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's what's up, man."
Man, the like I remember when I was in high school, our homecoming, we all rode together, and you know what I'm saying, like it was me and all my boys, and then like prom, I think was the one. Yeah, prom was the one where we kind of just, you know what I'm saying, like we all had dates and stuff. But homecoming, we was just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even that was one of them things that you just went to go do, and had some fun with.
I don't even remember a homecoming dance in my school.
Really?
Yeah, like look, there might have been, and I just wasn't interested in going. I don't know. I just really, I mean, obviously I remember homecoming and shit, but like I just don't remember a homecoming dance. But we could have had one, and I just didn't go. And like I went to my, I went to my school prom my junior year. I didn't go my senior year, but I did go to a prom. It was another school.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't go to my school prom my senior year. But yeah, like I mean, when I went to those, like yeah, I had a date or whatever. But I don't remember a homecoming dance, man. I really don't. I must have missed it.
Okay then.
But,
So man, today we got a different one for y'all today, man. I don't know if you ever seen this. Is this your first time seeing this?
yes, this was my first time.
Okay, so it's a Spike Lee joint. Make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, okay. So this is a Spike Lee joint, man. This is, like I said, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Spike Lee movies of all time. Definitely top 3. It fight for a spot in top 2. But this is I remember seeing this when it first came out. And I was amazed at watching this. And so the to me this is Spike Lee's masterpiece. I don't know how you really feel about this, but because I'm so high on it, I want to give you more room to, you know what I'm saying, kind of talk more about this than I do, because I'm really just gonna big this movie up the whole time. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is an automatic 5 for me. So for anybody watching, you ain't even no need to get to the fire flames. For me, this is an automatic 5. But I'm excited and willing to I'm excited and ready to hear what you have to say about this, man. Let me know what's up.
Okay, so first of all, let me say this, because you were talking about like Spike Lee and this movie being in your top 3 to top 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, Spike Lee is a lot of his movies have messages. This
Yeah.
movie had a ton of them,
Yeah.
and watching it, I can see how this is in your top 3. Like this, for me, it don't make mine,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm different like that. Like for
Right.
me, like my fucking favorite movie is America at St. Anna's, but I got this
Mhm.
whole thing with war and all types of shit like that, so it's
Right.
just different. And, then the usual suspects with Malcolm X and He Got Game and shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
like for me, like watching this, like the very first thing that came to mind was you watching this, and it's like, okay, obviously it's a message movie, and it's one of those movies where he's trying to show, I'm saying, the demographic of the history of blackface and why you should be offended, why this shit even exists, and all this type shit. And it's like, but also within watching it, this also is a movie about the famous quote of all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those type things too, where you have to understand where there's some people who will be willing to sell themselves out for a check, and
Mm-hmm.
there's also some people who look back at themselves and be like, "Yo, like I don't care how much money you're gonna give me, I'm not gonna quote unquote sell myself out." Now that works with everything. You know what I'm saying? Like me and you, we pod. You know what I'm saying? We both been podding for over 6 years now. One thing that I would never do is I would never we've had these discussions when we talk about podcasts. Like I'm not willing to go off the deep end to get clicks or to have a viral moment. It's just not my thing. Like my thing is I'm gonna give you the real, my real opinions, my real thoughts on shit, and that's just how I roll. So within saying that, when it comes to the two dudes, which was
Man Ray and
Man Tank, yeah,
well,
Man Ray
yeah, you just
and
ain't say
Womack.
his name. Yeah.
Like you can tell going in it, Womack was kind of, but then at the same time, they're like, yo, like we fucking living on the streets. We ain't really got shit. We've been asking this dude for a shot. Now he's giving us a shot, and it's like, all right. And what I noticed was the second time that it showed him putting that makeup on, he was crying because he was like, yo, like I'm really fucking selling myself out. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? On some shit that I ain't even have any interest of doing. But then you also see the corporate world part of it, and I'm gonna start rambling because I really really want your opinion on this part. So the corporate world part of it, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to Dunwitty, right, played by Michael Rappaport.
Shout out to Rappaport, man, because he did a hell of a job in this movie.
He did he's too good at shit like this,
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
aggravating.
Yeah.
But also he still wasn't the head. He was really like the pitch guy to pitch it to the people above him.
He was the face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is Pierre. he got all of these pictures about these shows. And
Mm-hmm.
then with he's like, yo, I'm more blacker than you. You know what I'm saying? You got this idea, this idea, this idea. He's like, all this shit is trash. Like, we don't like nobody want to see that shit. We want some shit that's gonna get our ratings up. So Pierre realizes, like, yo, I'm gonna come up with the most ignorant fucking idea to basically get myself fired, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And this dumb idea that he comes up with is they ended up he's saying it as a joke, and they're like, yo, that shit is fire. And we're gonna make it the most raciest fucking shit that you can fucking think of. And the shit becomes a hit. And it's like the message within that is like, yo, like we're going to like we don't want to see and look, and I get it, you know, because they brought up the Huxtables and all that type shit and the Jeffersons and all that type shit. It's like, yeah, they showing you positive black figures and shit, right? But what they're saying is we don't want to see that. We want to see ignorance. We want to see violence. We want to see, you know what I'm saying, black people being shown and not as a great of light. So, but you also got this quote unquote Uncle Tom type of figure who, yo, the casting of putting Paul Mooney as his father is one of the most funniest fucking things I've ever seen.
Genius. Genius.
That shit was genius as fuck. Because
Genius.
you got a father. If y'all know who Paul Mooney is, and you see this character Pierre, it's like, yo, like what happened here?
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm talking about that motherfucker fell from the heavens of Olympus into something else because there's no way this is supposed to be Junebug's son.
yo, this is where's the milkman? Something happened here. This is not right.
His real name is Peerless.
And he changes it to Pierre.
He changed it to Pierre Delacroix.
Yeah, that shit.
Because in the one scene where he went to go visit Junebug and they sitting there talking, and he asked him, he said, Peerless, you know, I gave you that name. What made you change your name? And he broke down why he changed his name. But what was the question you had for me?
But like, it was more of when it comes to Pierre basically selling himself out for success, even though the idea was to get himself fired, but he ended up getting rewards for it, and it ended up being a hit and all this type of shit. And so he just ended up rolling with it. And like my thing is, even like the example I brought up as far as podcasting, like, is there something where you could see where you could, I don't know, like, I guess, I mean, the only way I can think of is kind of selling yourself out for some fame, I would say.
Absolutely not. I'd die a poor man with my morals and dignity intact before I ever sell my soul for anything. But it's so that's to answer your question, but actually I wanted to say this because I find it very interesting that you say he was, you know, selling his soul. Because in all actuality, his, like you said, his whole goal was to, you know what I'm saying, like get fired from all this, to be like, yo, fuck all this shit. This shit is meaningless to me. So I think it's very interesting that you feel like he was selling his soul. To me, I always looked at him as somebody who was trying to show not just positive imagery, but he was trying to push our culture forward by giving us these things like the Cosby shows and stuff like that, but in his own, you know what I'm saying, like in his own vision. However, because he worked for certain people, they don't like I'm about to call him Rappaport. Like don't what he said, yeah, like then what he said, yo, they don't want to hear that shit, Sharif. Like we cool on that shit. We don't want to see y'all like that. So I always thought that was interesting because, and the reason why this is one of my favorite movies, for real, is because this shit holds up to this day. If you look at the entertainment that we give out today is literally the same fucking thing that this shit is in Bamboozled. But in the movie, Pierre has said a quote about James Baldwin, and that quote was, "To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage almost all the time, and in one's work. And part of that rage is this: it isn't only what is happening to you." And I felt that when he had made that, when he had quoted James Baldwin, in that scene, I thought that that was perfect because his whole thing was, all I want to do is be great by showing my people in a better light. So he's, if you really pay attention to this movie, he's done everything that he could possibly do to try to do it his way, right? Like he went to the right school. I think he went to like Harvard or some shit like that. He went to the right school. He changed his name. He started talking different. He started acting different. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets snobby and shit like that. Like he worked his way up to a certain position. And no matter what he gives, every pilot that he gives, they just toss that shit to the side. So finally, in the, which I thought, once again, the writing in this is just as genius as the, you know what I'm saying, the whole the acting and everything about this to me is genius. The genius behind him going, um him going, I'm going to write the most diabolical shit ever, and I'm going to give it to them. And when I give it to them, they're going to look at me and say, "You must be fucking crazy. Get the fuck out of here." Instead, because this movie is about satire in general, the satire and the irony is that he goes to this place with this horrible idea. Blackface. We're gonna put some motherfuckers in blackface. We're gonna make them do a minstrel show. He thinking this shit is gonna get me thrown out the motherfucker. I'm gonna get Jazzy Jeff. They like, nah, this shit is genius. This is the one. This is what we need. A new millennium minstrel. Oh man, people are gonna go crazy. Now, when when you seen that this is the idea, what was your first initial thought?
Now, what you also got to understand is I'm going into this no trailer,
Right,
no, you know what I mean?
right, right.
So I'm sitting here like, all right, we really doing this. You know what I mean? Like we really doing this. And it's like, and it's one of the perfect examples that they used. And it was something that Pierre said. And this is my own thing about Pierre. Now, I will say this because now everybody don't do this, but you know, for me, being in the South, you know, being a FedEx driver, you know what I'm saying, for 15 years, you run across a, and then I was a swing driver for like 6.5, 7 of those years. So I ran different routes every week. So I seen a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
So I could come into a door and automatically be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
So did I play the game from time to time? Yeah. I come
Right.
in, my voice is different. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying not to be, you know, intimidating to, you know, certain people in a
Mm-hmm.
business space and all this type of shit. So everybody do it. I was just meaning Pierre went to the fucking extreme. Like
Yeah.
he, you know what I'm saying? And it was just more of like that part. And I get the positive messaging that he was trying to put off, but it was just like, okay, dude, like you could play the game a little bit, but it's just like, yo, you went like way, way down there. But one of the things that he said, which was very genius, and I think that a lot of people don't, maybe some people don't understand this part of Martin Luther King's nonviolence approach. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Uncle Washington used to talk about this a lot. He was like, you know, Malcolm X went at it, Malcolm X, and you know, and on the side, the Panthers, they went at it differently than the
Mm-hmm.
way that he did. They went the violent way. They was like, yo, you put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands on you. He went
Mm-hmm.
about it. What we're gonna do is we are gonna take everything that they do to us. So when the cameras come around, we're gonna get the sympathetic white people to be like, yo, what's going on is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was what he was trying to do with this blackface shit. Because when you look at all of the old films and the way that black people were portrayed when the white people would put blackface on, it brought out all the stereotypes, and it was also black people were just entertainment. We were just looked at as workers and entertainers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so within coming up with that idea of doing a show, and this movie came out in 2000, and it's like the gall that somebody would even try this.
Right.
Number one, and then a company, what was it, CBN? I think it was. For these people to even entertain putting this like a fucking blackface type thing on TV, and have these people, these unknown actors, do this shit that wouldn't even know. Let me rephrase that. Two homeless people to come in as actors, and to come in and do it. Like, you take the most vulnerable people that you can take, people who don't have anything to lose.
Right.
So it's just like, you can't really be mad at them.
What does that sound like?
What are you thinking?
It's reality TV, bro. That's what I said. This movie holds up so fucking much, bro.
It is.
That's all this shit is reality TV.
It really is reality TV, because you take people who the thing about reality TV is that's a little bit different. No, because if you think about it, it was funny that when they had the discussion at the table, when he was trying to tell them like his idea, and he brought up the examples, the OJ example to them, and really got them going. He was like, they have no idea. I'm not using any of this shit. I'm just telling them that I'm going through, but I'm not using any of their writing. He was just like really trying to get a discussion. And like what Spike was trying to do is to show everybody, like, yes, we have differences. We're not going to see everything the same way, and we're not going to agree on everything. But even if we don't, at the end of the day, we're here together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing we can do about it. It's never going to be a world where it's going to be either it's going to be all black people or it's going to be all white people. It's not going to happen. Like, we're all fucking here, and we don't have to agree on everything. But it's the whole thing of there are certain white people who would get it, and there was those same people that saw the nonviolence approach, and they came and they marched and they did everything that they can for the civil rights movement. And there's going to be people that's going to keep up their Confederate flags and be like, fuck them all. You know what I'm saying? But what this movie also showed you was that there's black people who will either sell themselves out, or they will go to the extreme, as far as, you know what I'm saying, one of my favorite rappers, Yasin Bey, you know what I'm saying, formerly
Big
known
Black,
as Mos
Mr.
Def.
Chairman of the Mau Mau's.
Yeah, like he took that shit to the extreme. Like, yo, you want to dance for Massa? I'm saying, I'm gonna have you dance for Massa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And took him out to basically send a message. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't, like, this is the last thing that we need, especially in this era.
Yeah.
I mean, for 2000, you know what I'm saying, slash 99, which they probably filmed this shit, you got motherfuckers on network TV in blackface in a pumpkin patch. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude.
Watermelon patch.
Yeah, watermelon. What did I say? I said pumpkin.
Yeah,
damn.
definitely a watermelon.
Yeah, watermelon patch. Like, dude, that's wild. And then for them to use the way that they did blackface with the stuff that they put in there, set it on fire. Yeah. Dude, wow. It's wild, man.
Well, see, this is why I say, man, like, I'm telling you, bro, I big this movie up whenever I get a chance to, because what it does is it not only shows you for the time it's in, like you said, 99, 2000, it not just shows you the mindset of America in this time, it also shows you the mindset of America up until this time, right? So like when Man Ray and Sloan are sitting down and having these conversations, and you just seeing this imagery of all of these different performers of, you know what I'm saying, all these different black performers back in the day who had to go through so much. You know what I'm saying? When you see somebody like Step and Fetch It, or when you see somebody like, you know what I'm saying, like Moms Mabley and all these other actors and actresses who at the time, you know what I'm saying, w- couldn't really even be on TV. You know what I'm saying? Specifically Step and Fetch It. Like this was somebody who had to literally play this role nonstop and was even hated by his own community because of the fact that he played this role no matter what he was going through. But this was the way he was, you know what I'm saying, like making his family, you know what I'm saying, or helping his family survive. So, you know, just even when they showed like the Little Rascal, the older version of the Little Rascals with Buckwheat, you know what I'm saying, like even that, like you kind of always seen, you know what I'm saying, like that imagery being shown. Even when, you know what I'm saying, you go to the older cartoons with the Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all them, and you know what I'm saying, the Wooga Booga and all that shit, like seeing all of that, and then to turn around and, you know what I'm saying, like see this shit live and in person in 1999, or I'm sorry, in 2000, see it come back to life, and now like all the people is, you know what I'm saying, loving it, and this shit is a fucking hit. Like even when, you know what I'm saying, like even when they in the, you know what I'm saying, like even when Honeycutt going up to the people and talking to them and like, you know, are you a nigga? And then the Chinese dude like, yes, I'm a nigga. And then the Italian dude like, yeah, I got more such and such than niggas. I got more such and such than niggas. And it's like, yo, like the world is like that right now. Like that's this, he foreseen all this shit. That's what we're sitting in right now. Just the fact that like, yo, I was watching an interview, I forgot not too long ago, and there was like this Italian dude from New York, and he was just saying nigga like it wasn't no issue. And it was like in a room full of black people. He just kept saying it though, and I'm like, am I tripping, or like do they know? Do they not know like this is he's not one of us? Or I mean, like or has it just come to that point to where now it's just a word that just don't mean shit no more? You know what I'm saying? Like, but either
Yeah.
way, it to me it was just because of, you know, the era I come from, it was just weird to see that. And so I think like having being in that position to see that would have been fucking weird as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely would have been with the Mau Mau's and been like, yeah, let's tear all this shit down. Cause what the fuck is this? You know what I'm
And
saying? Like
to
all this soft shoeing, watermelon, yes sir, no sir type bullshit. Nah, I'd have been with the Mamas on that.
yeah, like I remember me and Uncle Washington were talking and I don't remember how we got on the subject, but we was talking about Gone with the Wind and
Oh,
the lady that played the maid.
yeah.
And like so she caught a lot of heat. And I think she got like I think she's the first black person to win an Oscar or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hattie
so
Mae Daniels, is that her name?
yeah, it was something like that. Hattie Mae. I know it was Hattie Mae.
I think it's Hattie
And
Mae
so
Daniels. Yeah.
you know, she was catching heat from people. And he was like, because he said the same thing that you said.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, I don't remember exactly what it was, but we'll just say 75. He was like, yo, maids in that time was making like 75 cents a day or something like that. She was like, would I rather get paid 75 cents a day to be a real maid or get $75 to play a maid in a movie or something like that? So it was like one of those things where it's like Uncle Washington was like, well, for all y'all people who are talking shit about this woman playing this role, are y'all gonna give her that money?
Yeah, she was making 450 a week, you said?
I don't remember what it was, but he
Oh,
was
yeah, that's what it's saying, 450 a week.
okay. And
And I'm
so
sorry, her name was Hattie McDaniel, not Hattie Mae Daniel,
okay,
Hattie McDaniel.
got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just saying that like all the people who criticize her for playing the maid, he was like,
Mm-hmm.
are y'all gonna pay her that money? You know what I'm saying? Like one of those type things. And when you said that, it just reminded me of him, you know, saying things like that. And like with this movie, and like I'm surprised that he was able to get the rights to a lot of the shit that he showed. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to all of that old footage and showing Birth of a Nation and all that type shit. Like, I was surprised that he was able to get the copyright shit, the publishing or whatever you want to call it, to be able to show all of that in this movie. I thought that was interesting as well. But like the whole also really kind of like going after ourselves when it like showing the beer commercial and shit, the malt liquor commercial, and it was kind of like how he
Oh
was like,
man, the bomb, baby. It's the
yeah,
bomb, yo. It helps you get your freak on. He said, what he say, doctor? What he say? 90% of doctors show these other malt liquors don't work on Black Johnsons. He was like,
hey, he said
hey,
Viagra don't work on Black Johnson.
bruh, that scene in general between that and the other commercial that followed it. Oh my gosh, you talking about comedy,
Oh,
bro?
the
That
hill nigger commercial.
Hill nigger. Hey, I'm Timmy Hill nigger. I've been down, bro. But the funny shit is the whole time. I know Paul Mooney wrote this because the whole time in the background you just hear Paul Mooney going Hill nigger, Hill nigger. That's
Yo,
my
it's
shit, bro.
yeah, it's so wild, but it's also like the shit that attracts us. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And it's just like, and I think Spike is just saying like, I mean, it's the same saying, man, where it's like we can, okay, right? So a lot of the analogy, okay, so I use this analogy, and I remember like this was a whole thing. When Cap was doing all his shit, right? Where you would hear people on the other side to say, "Yo, y'all will get outraged when it's a cop killing an unarmed black person," but then they'll use the whole analogy of like, you know, black people killing black people and all this type shit, right? And it's like, okay, well, this is what you're not understanding. It's like we pay cops taxes to protect us,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get off. Even if this black person kill another black person,
Mm-hmm.
there's one person dead and one person serving time for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a fucking comment
Same
that like it's
thing.
not the same. Like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The outcomes are different. So it's like, but within that being said, it's like yes, like we know there is some problems in some black communities that need to be addressed.
Yeah, but
And
it's
it's
problems
like,
in our communities.
yeah, it's problem in all communities.
Yeah.
Ours is the one who the lightest gets shined on the brightest.
Right.
Well, when it comes to violence and being on the news and all types of shit
Mm-hmm.
like that. But
Absolutely.
like I think what he was trying to do, like with the malt liquor commercial, was just basically saying like that he's making a joke of it, but he's like, yo, malt liquor's fucking us up.
Big time.
And y'all need to chill on that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he did it in a funny way to
Mm-hmm.
make you laugh. But then
Satire, bro.
also,
That's why I said this whole film
yeah,
is satire, bro.
yeah, and then like the Hill, like the Timmy Hill nigga thing,
Mm-hmm.
like the whole shit about Tommy Hilfiger coming out saying that he didn't want black people wearing his stuff, but he
Mm-hmm.
was like, y'all still go out and buy that shit
Yeah.
and wear it. You know what I'm saying? Promote it. You know what I'm saying? You going on album covers and magazine covers and all this type of shit wearing it, and he's like, yo, like he don't want you wearing his shit, but y'all
Like, bro,
still fucking wear it.
the name on the shit was Hill Nigger, and they was out there more into it than he was. He out there talking about I know all the bitches and hoes and all this other shit, and they just standing around him like, yeah, like he got this Hill nigga on. Like that's the shit. That's why I said, bro, this shit is more prevalent than ever. Think about this. How many times over the last 3 to 5 years have we seen Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all these other companies make fun of us? We even seen Gucci come up with a blackface a blackface turtleneck, And niggas still out here wearing
Yeah.
Gucci. Niggas still out here wearing Louis Vuitton. So that's why I say, when I say like this movie hits so hard right now, bro, this movie really does its job. Like, um, what I was gonna lead to though was, because you had asked something, you had asked a good question earlier. Um, and you had led into the cops and the police, but what I wanted to talk about was just the whole thing of blackface, right?
Hmm.
Um, because you had mentioned this, you were saying how they originally did it, and they talked about it, how they originally, well, I believe Jada Pinkett's character, Sloan, was narrating everything when this was happening, but basically they were breaking down how they had made the black paint for blackface and stuff, and they talked about how they spread the cocoa butter over first, then what I'm saying, they burn the corks in alcohol and mush it up, what I'm saying, into a paste. And then they, what I'm saying, make sure that they get it all over there so it don't damage your face or whatever. Then they talk about the fire engine red lipstick, what I'm saying, and the white gloves and everything else. And what's crazy is that even back then, the fact that they had like the whole thing of blackface coming back then was the fact that they didn't want black people on film. They didn't want
Hmm.
them in films. And so blackface is really just something that white people would do to, what I'm saying, portray the image of a black person in the film without actually, what I'm saying, giving the opportunities to black people. Eventually black people would start jumping in and doing it themselves because of the whole minstrel idea. If you was gonna make a fool of yourself, then you might as well, you know, make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
What I do find interesting though is in this film they also show a film that was, well, the very first film that was shown in the White House in 1915, which was Birth of a Nation. And inside Birth of a Nation, there's an actor, excuse me, who's in blackface, and he's supposed to be playing this crazed lunatic Negro who is and he's supposed to be like an escaped slave or something like that, but he's running around pretty much, I guess, supposedly raping women and killing people. And basically, the Klan goes after him, they kill him, and then save the day. That's basically what Birth of a Nation, the original Birth of a Nation, was supposed to be about. Until later on down the line when what's his name? Nate
Nate Parker.
yeah, Nate Parker took that shit and remixed it and made it about Nat Turner. So yeah, it was interesting seeing that because, like, mind you, bro, like, this is the White House. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the, like, the top of government, and they're watching this shit. So this is just like, I appreciated them for throwing that in there, because like even this is showing you, even at the fullest extent of government, even the person that is supposed to represent everyone here, the thing that's supposed to represent every citizen here, is showing you, like, even then they're accepting of this. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
to see that, what I'm saying, like when they was when the Mantan and Sleep and Eat show was hitting, like everybody was accepting of. They had Chinese people in blackface, white people in blackface, black people in blackface. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, it was one of those things that's like, as a black person, this is a nightmare for you. Like, if you woke up in this type of a world, you would be like, what the fuck is going on? Um, and I just thought it was dope just how, what I'm saying, like he really was putting so many different pieces of history in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with the memorabilia, and I hate to call it memorabilia, but I mean that's really what it is. Even with
Hmm.
the, what I'm saying, the memorabilia of the, what I'm saying, the bank, the little nigga bank, and what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like all of these different things, what I'm saying, like even when he even went so far as one point to hand Man Ray uh Bill Bojangles Robinson's shoes that he died in, his tap shoes that he died in. Like, even thinking about that shit, like just knowing that, what I'm saying, like the fact that he died in his tap shoes. you know what I'm saying, working just
Mhm.
to get to a certain point in life, knowing that everything was against. It's just like, yo, all of that shit is crazy, bro. Like all of this shit is crazy, but the way that he infused all that together, and then on top of that, the jazz and you know what I'm saying, all of these different things, I just was like, yo, this is crazy.
And then to even use the whole point of saying, I can't remember exactly how he put it, but you would get the gist for what I'm saying. It's like there was one scene where Junebug was like, like basically like all black people are funny, like saying
Hmm.
like we're all entertaining.
Yeah.
And then, but then there was someone else who was just saying like, like black culture is our culture. Like they take like everything that we do
Hmm.
and make something of it. And I think that's just like, when you go back to slavery days and shit, like this shit even go back to fucking just something just as simple as fucking boxing. Like they used to fucking get slaves drunk and have them fight to the death. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Just for entertainment. This
Yeah.
is our entertainment for the night and have black people around us playing fucking violins and shit, you know what I'm saying? Just for our entertainment. So it was
Hmm.
like we've always been here for like entertainment and work. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Profit.
yeah, like and then but then the things that motherfuckers do well, they take it and they run with it. That's why it's like,
And water it
yeah,
down.
and it's like some shit where it's just like, along the way there's some motherfuckers who got credit, you know what I'm saying, as far as like, I don't remember his name. I should have remembered his name, but like, and I hate to say this because I used to drink it when I was in college, and it was only
What,
because
Jack
that's,
Daniels?
yes,
Yeah,
I
you
do not
talking
like
about
Jack
the Uncle
Daniels.
Nearest brand liquor. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
and it's
just
like
they who where they just came
like
out with
like
that
10
like
years
within the last,
ago.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
they just like, cause like there's like a picture of like everybody who was like in there. And there was one black guy in there.
Hmm. And that's
And
him.
like he was like basically the one who came up with all this shit to put it together to where
Hmm.
everybody that fuck with Jack Daniels fuck with Jack Daniels.
Hmm.
And like you got, Andrew Mama who was on the cover. You had, Uncle Ben and all this type of shit. So
Even
like they're
even better one, even better one. The person who gets credit for creating the work plant is dude from that state up north.
Henry
Ford.
Ford.
Yeah, Ford. Truth be told, that's not his idea. Even the Model T Ford is also a replica of a car made by two black brothers. He stole that as well. But the plant is, and the way the plant works is all from I'm about to say Booker T. Washington, but not him. Carter. What's his name?
Booker T. No.
No,
I know you're talking about Carver.
Carver. George Washington
Ah,
Carver.
George Washington Carver. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
The plant and the way it works is designed by George Washington Carver. It's designed to work like the actual plant works. So the only thing that Henry Ford comes up with is the fact that he makes people work 5 days
Yeah,
a week,
he came
eight
up with the
hours a
5
day.
days a week, 8 hours a day. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
the plant and the system, the assembly line and all that came from George Washington Carver.
Well, I mean, it's just like when, and it's just like, man, like being black is like one of those things where it's just like, you know, you have to be creative with a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just like the whole shit. I mean, look, I don't eat them. It's just a personal choice by me. But like chitlins and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
basically,
hate
the
that.
whole thing of how that shit even came about, it was just more of like, yo, we're gonna give y'all the scraps of, not even really give y'all the scraps. It's just more of like, yo, this is the scraps. Do with it what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you hungry, you know what I'm saying? These
Hey.
motherfuckers found a way to put some shit together, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like now, it's like, dude,
It's a delicacy.
yeah, motherfuckers, like, dude, like, cause like my mom, when I was over there the other day, they saw that some chitlins were being sold cheaper than it normally is. These motherfuckers went bought that shit up, threw that shit in the freezer. Like this is like
Mm-hmm.
a big thing. and like, shit high as fuck. They was like, it's usually like $50 a bucket. It's like,
Yeah,
yo, who want to pay $50 a bucket
for some
for
intestines.
pig intestines
Yeah,
that you gotta clean the shit out of it before you cook it?
shit is horrible.
But it's like at the same time, when they was doing it back then, they was like, yo, like
That's how
that's
they're feeding
different.
themselves.
Yeah, that's how they feeding themselves. Like
Yeah,
they, you know, like you ain't got no choice. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And then you also got to consider like we got the privilege to be picky. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? These people back then, they're like, look, you about to go out, you know what I'm saying, crack of dawn in the morning, and you about to work fucking 15, 18 hours or whatever.
To
You know
the
what I'm saying?
crack of dusk.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, the only way you're not gonna fucking pass out is you gotta have some fucking food in you. So
Mm-hmm.
you can only eat what you can eat.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So you know you didn't have a choice. And like
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I say like I try I don't do it all the time. I ain't gonna lie. I was bitching like this morning or the day before because my podcast was taking too long to start. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting here bitching about stupid shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck wrong with my phone, man? I want to hit the play button to play immediately. And it's like that's why I say like we've gotten to a point where it's like, you know, where we really look at like our lives and it's just like, yo, like considering the sum, like, I mean, this ain't shit.
Hey,
You
I
know what I
totally
mean?
disagree with you when you say shit like that.
Which part?
We should be more like, because you before I say this, are you getting to the point to where you saying like we should be more humble and appreciative?
No, well, not necessarily that. Just more of like, I mean, yes, in a way, but it's more of like those people paved the way to where we can be the way that we are.
And
But not
I
only
and
that, they created a lot of the fucking shit too.
absolutely. But that's why I do everything in my fucking power to be as privileged as possible. Just because I know, no, I'm dead serious, and I know that sounds like a joke to some people, but I mean this. I do everything in my power to be as privileged as possible because my ancestors couldn't be, and so I know that given the opportunity and the you know what I'm saying, and no pun intended, the privilege to, you know what I'm saying, they would be the same way. They would be able to say, yo, I don't like tomatoes, or hey, you know what I'm saying, I don't like this fabric, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like you said, you gave a great point when you said that, yo, the fact that they literally were forced to use certain items and eat certain foods and whatever it was, we've always found a way to make something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even when you think about, you know what I'm saying, like up until this point, like bro, like us two, you know what I'm saying? We've been through how many podcasts? You know what I'm saying? We've run a successful podcast for this long. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not easy for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we've been doing it ourselves. So it just goes to show you, like, yo, this is just something that as a people we used to doing. We used to putting our best foot forward and making something happen. Or, wherever we go, sometimes we the life of the party. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we are the party. Shit, sometimes the party don't start till we all get there. Or other times, shit, we gotta pick this party up, throw a little seasoning on it, and make something happen. Um, this is just it always has been who we are. You brought up a good point in the movie where you was talking about how Junebug was telling them like, yo, we just naturally funny people. That's just who we are. Um, but not only that, I think that, you know what I'm saying, um hidden up under that um hidden up under that funny, and hidden up under, you know what I'm saying, all the jokes, is intelligence as well. You know what I'm saying? Perfect example is, and this is going back to him. Perfect example is of Pierre. You know what I'm saying? Pierre really, he literally paved the way for himself. You know what I'm saying? To come from two parents who may have been, we don't really know. They might have been what, like middle class. They weren't rich. We know that. So they might have been like middle class, maybe, you know what I'm saying, upper middle class or whatever. But you know what I'm saying, he was able to go to college. He made his way through college. In college, he found a way to create a persona that would get him in places that he knew he wouldn't be able to get in any other situation. So he created this persona. He goes on into these situations and he works his way up to the position that he's in. And now he has a successful hit television show. Much even though he's reluctant to have it, he still has a hit television show. You know what I'm saying? All due to his genius because he's, you know what I'm saying, he's put his best foot forward and he's pretty much created these lanes for him to do so. And even the smart thing of keeping somebody like Sloan around him, you know what I'm saying, to keep him level, to keep him base. I think I even thought that was genius on his behalf too.
It was her character was it was very important to what they were doing because she was the one who was trying to get him to see like the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like she was the one who would give him pushback,
Mm-hmm.
which you didn't see a lot of assistants not, you know, giving pushback. But I
Right.
think that with her giving him the type of pushback, I think that was the balance, of him like not going too far to the left, not going too far to the right, because she was able to, what I'm saying, balance that beam out. And so I thought that her character, even dealing like with her brother and shit, like even
Yeah.
the way that she even dealt with him,
Mm-hmm.
like it, and then, what is it, man tone? What's his name?
Man Ray.
Man Ray. Even when she, started getting involved with him and things like that, she started telling him like, "Yo, like basically like open your eyes." You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And like he started to change, and that's that thing where it's like, where he started to look at his main dude, what I'm saying, that was Tommy Davidson,
Womack.
Womack started looking at him like, cause like the whole scene where he was like yelling at the kid or whatever. And so he's like, "Yo, like, man, you yelling at kids now?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's like what it was, you know what I'm saying? Like he lost himself along the way to
Yeah.
where he would talk to a kid the way that he did and
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Yo, look, I wasted my time with you and this and that." And what he didn't seem to realize was like, "Yo, yeah, Womack, he did run a little game on you from time to time,
Yeah, but he was keeping you
but
alive.
that I was yes, he was, but not that, not only that, but like you wouldn't be there without Womack. Yes, Womack wouldn't be there
Absolutely.
without you, but y'all are a duo. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's just like this podcast. It ain't gonna be a situation where it's like, yo, like the viewers and numbers it's only gonna pop because of one person. It's like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? This is a two-man show.
Right.
So he lost that. You know what I'm saying? He started getting big headed and all this type of shit, and he let the fame get to his head. And
Mm-hmm.
Womack was like, yo, like, dude, what we're doing, man, this shit is wrong. And not only is it wrong, but the way that you're taking it and saying that you could have did this shit without me and all this type of shit, it's like, no, like y'all came in as a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
None of this shit would have worked without both of y'all. But I think that's also a thing of like just showing people like that ego. You know what I'm saying? When that ego come in, you get a little bit of money in your pocket, all
Mm-hmm.
this type shit. Look, we've seen it a multitude of times. You look at groups that has broken up. You see duos that's broken up. You seen
Yeah.
podcasts that has broken up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, the main factor is fucking ego. We seen
Every
it.
time.
We seen it in sports. Like, even with my team, the 49ers, they broke up. I mean, I'm glad we're doing well now, but they broke up a very good, successful thing with fucking Jim Harbaugh, Trent Baalke, and Jed York. But y'all want to
Mm-hmm.
bitch about who gets the most credit.
Yeah.
Like Trent Baalke's mad because fucking Jim Harbaugh's getting the credit, and Jim Harbaugh saying, "Yo, I should get the credit." And then Baalke's like, "Yo, I'm the one who drafted these players," and they bumping heads and they blow the whole fucking shit up, and then we sorry for 5 straight years.
What was the GM for the Bulls in the 90s?
Uh, uh,
Jerry
uh, uh, uh fuck.
is it Klaus or
Man,
Close?
Klaus. It's Klaus.
Jerry Klaus.
Yes.
That motherfucker, he fucked everything up because he got mad that Jordan was getting all the credit, even though that he was, you know what I'm saying, drafting all the players.
And like my thing is, it's like, yo, y'all are doing it together.
Yeah, it's a team effort, bro.
Jordan wouldn't have won shit if you didn't put the team together. And but at the same time, it's like when shit mesh, the shit mesh. You know what I'm saying? With
Mm-hmm.
the Warriors drafting their three core players, and those three core players are still there. They made a decision. Like, don't get me wrong, we all know if you listen, like I've listened to Clay Thompson on the podcast, I've listened to Draymond, like every single one of them always give credit to Mark Jackson. It's like we wouldn't be here today without Mark Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did Steve Kerr take us to the next level? Yes. But did he kind of, you know what I'm saying, get it started? Yeah. But this is not the first example. Fucking what's my man? Tony Dungy. Dungy started the shit in
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Then
John
he
Gruden
goes to
came in.
Indianapolis. John Gruden come in the next year and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, with all that being said, it's all of it. It's not just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think what Spike is trying to show was the fact of like, look, man, people let ego get to the head and they forget where they came from, basically.
Even more so though, even more so, just the fact that you tend to lose who you are morally. You tend to lose who you are spiritually. Like, imagine knowing this about your ancestors and going through like because that whole trip for Man Ray was really a learning lesson too, because when Sloan was giving them all the little shit that she was giving them and talking about the things that she was talking about, like, he didn't know none of that shit. He was just learning. And remember, at the one time he was sitting on the bed because he trying to, you know what I'm saying, cozy up to her. He like, yo, like, we gonna have a history lesson right now, or we gonna chill? And she like, oh yeah, nah, this ain't that, my boy. We ain't got to have no history lesson, but we ain't gonna chill neither. Cause I see right now you just this your brain ain't even where it's supposed to be. And the interesting thing was she was saying, you know what I'm saying, like, she was like, well, you Delacroix puppet. He was like, I ain't Delacroix puppet. And she was like, "Oh, you Delacroix puppet." He said, "I ain't nobody's puppet." She said, "Well, shit, nigga." And she started tapping the thing. She was like, "You better figure it out. You somebody's puppet."
Yeah, she had that tap dancing like
Yeah.
little thing or whatever, and had played that, and like he's looking at it, and he finally sees himself, and
Mm-hmm.
so then when the next show came around, he didn't want to come down, and so but that whole scene is so wild, just watching like a whole audience in fucking blackface, like
And then to
that shit
to
is
see
wild.
him outside of it,
Yeah,
tap
everybody's
dancing,
stunned.
yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, giving his speech about how he's through with the shit. They throw him out, and then Honeycutt come in. That well, let me tell you something, bro. Thomas Jefferson Bird, bro. That's my guy. Niggas is a beautiful thing, bro. Come on, man. Come
They
on, man. Then the audition. We didn't even talk about the audition. The auditions was fucking hilarious. Speaking of,
yes.
that was another one of my favorite parts, bro. I think they did a great job of adding comedy in certain parts where, you know what I'm saying, it needed to be to keep this movie as fresh as it did throughout the whole movie. Because I ain't gonna lie, when that nigga got on stage and started doing his stand up and then went into niggas is a beautiful thing, bro.
Yeah, that was the one thing that literally made me bust
Hey,
out laughing
fire, bro,
because
fire, bro.
he was so into it. Niggas is a beautiful thing. like he was feeling it, and I was like,
Hey,
yo,
bro, that shit was
that
fire,
that
bro.
that was the one shit that really made me
Yeah,
like bust out laughing. Like that shit was hilarious to me.
for sure, man. So before we close out, man, just what are some of your closing thoughts? What are some things that you know what I'm saying you kind of feeling about this movie and all that good stuff?
Honestly, I think it's gonna be. I think this movie would have the exact same outcome as every other thing in America, and this is what I mean. I think the people who feel, and I'm talking about black people and white people,
Mm-hmm.
the people who feel outraged when they see an unarmed person either beaten or shot in the streets, the people that's gonna feel sympathetic are the people that's gonna feel sympathetic. But the people that don't give a shit, they're gonna continue not to give a shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that the people that went in it with their certain mindsets, I don't think they ever were gonna be changed. Now, do
Right.
I think that this movie made a few people look like, damn, you know what? Either let me learn more or I need to be more sympathetic to it. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
more of a lower percentage, but I think overall, the people who are the way they are, they're gonna feel the same way before and after.
Right.
Um, but I get what he was trying to do. I appreciate what he's trying to do because a lot of his movies, you know what I'm saying, are like that. I mean, like even though like we done this movie, but I don't think we talked about this part. I'm talking about he got game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there are so many stories where there's a black father who didn't make it and they end up getting incarcerated, and then the son goes along to be in the NBA. Now I know there's a lot more to go along with he got game, but just the fact of like prisons are, you know what I'm saying, overpopulated with black fathers. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And so a lot of these boys having to become men themselves, but they was gifted this talent, and then you go and you watch, I would like to thank my mom. I would like to thank my mom. I would like to thank my mom. You hear all these mom stories, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, when you see a dad, it's just like, that's why I hate that the John Morant shit is going the way it's going right now. Cause like
Right.
T Morant is there, and it's just like, fuck, man, like John, get it together, man. But
What
but
if
yeah,
this is a what if this is how can I put this, bro? What if this is the Man Tan and Sleep and Eat show that we seeing out of the NBA with Ja Morant?
I,
Like, think about this, right?
I
We just came off of, I don't mean to cut you off, but we just came off of LeVar Ball,
mhm.
and he did everything he said he was gonna do, but he knew when to fall back. He knew when to step up. He knew when to basically make shit happen. And I think that when they was bringing him on TV, they did their best to get this negative image of him because he's so loud and boisterous, right?
Mhm.
But because everything was about his kids, instead, what you seen was a caring father who went to the limits to do anything that he could, and beyond the limits at this point, to do anything he could to get his sons the dream that they wanted to get. And that's what ended up becoming the narrative outside of what, you know what I'm saying, like ESPN and all of these different networks and people were saying, you know what I'm saying, like all of these reporters and stuff were saying. What if this is the, you know what I'm saying, the minstrel show for that? Like, yo, T Morant is, not doing what he's supposed to be doing as a father. And, you know what I'm saying, he's supposed to be talking to his son, making sure his son is blah, blah, blah. And then it ends up getting on some shit that eventually T Morant used to do or had done back in the day.
I see what you're saying. In the LeVar part, at the end of the day, all that shit was some rapper shit. Like
And it
how
worked.
many rappers you know, like, yo, uh who's the best rapper in the game? Fuck they supposed to say. They gonna say themselves.
Right.
So if somebody say, "How good is your son?" Yeah, he could beat Michael Jordan. That's what you're supposed to say. Like,
But the fact that he was so adamant about it, so he was so adamant about it that the nigga went so far was like, shit, I could beat Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan ain't all that.
see,
Michael Jordan ain't
that
shit.
that was the thing.
Yeah.
That was the thing, and I think. But when it comes to the Morants, though, I think that's just more of like, look, you can lead a horse to the well, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
All you could do as a father, man, is, like I tell people today, I'll be like, yo, all I'm trying to do at this point is to raise my kids to be good men. That's all I can do. That's
Right.
all I'm trying to do right now. I'm not trying to lead them to either college or sports or whatever the case may be, podcast, whatever they want to do. I'm just trying, my goal is to make them be good men.
Mm-hmm.
But just because that's my goal don't mean that shit is gonna happen. Like
Right.
it gets to a certain point where, you know what I'm saying, you're white noise to your child.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that I I think T did, first of all, people got to understand this. T was able to get his son from a small school in fucking South Carolina to college, whether it was Murray State or not,
Mm-hmm.
still college.
Mm-hmm.
His son went to college for 2 years. So a lot of these one and dones, yeah, they bullshit their way and they don't, you know what I mean? To
Right.
play for two
You know they
years, you
do.
at least had to do some work while you were there. You had to do something.
But he was being talked about in them 2 years too, though. It wasn't like it was just some random shit. But
Yeah.
wasn't T in the league
No, T played with Ray Allen in high school.
in high school? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like yeah, they was on the same team together in high school.
Okay.
Um so but like yeah, so like my whole thing is I'm pretty sure T is saying what he's supposed to say to Ja. But at the end of the day, like Ja's a grown ass man.
But I don't. But when I ask that question, I'm not saying that it's them that's doing it. I'm saying as far as like on some conspiracy theory type shit, to where the NBA is like, hey, we need you to hold this L. We need you to be the bad guy of the NBA.
And then I don't even think he's the bad guy. I just think
Hmm?
he's just making I think he's just making dumbass decisions
Oh,
on social media.
he is the bad guy of the league, my boy. Trust and
Man,
believe.
come on.
Nigga, NBA 2K24, when you play the Grizzlies, that nigga is on the bench in the suit.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And during the season, like when you start to see, he's on the bench in the suit. Now think about that. This is NBA 2K24. This shit ain't got to be that realistic. So you mean to tell me on the video game this nigga can't even play?
Yo, that's
He's the
hilarious. I
bad
mean,
guy
it's
in the
not,
league,
but
bro.
I see what you're saying. I'm just talking like from my point of view. I just
Yeah.
see someone who just can't get the fuck off social media and making, you know what I'm saying, just not
He's
smart decisions.
bro. How old is he, bro?
He got to be 22, 23.
22 years old. What 22-year-old on social media is doing anything not stupid?
A lot of this shit
Point
is
me to
stupid.
the page so I can see. It's a bunch of 22-year-olds on social media. All of them are doing stupid shit. That's what they do on social media.
Yo, you know how many Yo, I'm watching this video and it says in the caption, why,
Mm-hmm.
right? This dude jumps off of a building into a tree. And the whole purpose was for him to fall and hit the ground. Like
See,
that's the whole purpose of the video.
guess how old that motherfucker was?
And
He probably 26. Stupid motherfucker.
it's like, what are you doing?
But
Like,
that's what I'm saying. So when they talk about John Morant the way that they talk about John Morant, I'm like, yo, okay, his dad is in his life, cool, but the, bruh, all these suburban kids, that's all they do is listen to rap music and find ways to buy weed and smoke it. I don't know what the media excuse me, I don't know what the media is telling y'all, and I don't know what's really going on, but these suburban kids are the real menaces in America. It's not the kids in the hood. First and foremost, the kids in the hood could barely afford to get the iPhone to listen to the rap music, or barely afford to get the weed to smoke it. 9 times out of 10, they selling it to the suburban kid to get the suburban kids money to help their mom pay bills and make sure that food is in the house for the family. Um, and I only know because I've seen this happen multiple times. But I've also been around suburban kids, and those niggas is the one with all the good weed and all the music, and they go to all the concerts. So LeVar tried to show he tried to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? He tried to show y'all when things got tough for I'm about to say Leangelo. When things got tough for Lonzo, what he start doing? Nigga
He
start
backed
rapping.
up.
No, nigga
Oh,
start
oh,
rapping.
oh, oh yeah,
Suburban
I
kids.
remember that. I
You know what
forgot
I'm saying?
about that. I forgot
Suburban
about
kids.
that.
Pay attention, man. It ain't the little kids in the hood that y'all claim is doing all these crimes and all that. No, these are suburban kids out here. They the only ones with access to their parents' money to get guns and all this other shit. I'm just saying that's where the real trouble lies, in the suburbs. You know what I'm
People
saying? They been
forget.
putting it on the hood for this long.
People forget.
It's the
Le,
suburbs problem.
LeVar fucking played on the practice squad of I think the Jets. So like,
Mm-hmm.
and they from Chino Hills. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm. They got
yeah,
money.
you know what I'm saying?
Suburbs.
Yeah, and then, like I
And
say,
I told you
if you
the
play,
first time that nigga did some shit, start rapping.
if you play your cards right, like practice squad, dude, you bring it home. You know what I'm saying? About a good, 200K a year, three hundred
Oh,
k
easy.
a year, and if you play it right, you can be fine. You know what I'm saying? Get a regular house. Don't try to do the big time shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't need all the
You
jewelry.
know
Yeah,
how much 200K could get you in Ohio, bro?
that's what I'm saying. Like you could be on the practice squad of the Cleveland Browns. You know what
Or
I
the
mean?
Bengals.
Yeah,
You know what
get
I'm
you a
saying?
nice.
You move out to one of these little quaint little towns like you know what I'm saying, Lima or some shit like that. Man, you be living life, man.
And then you got little name because if you're on a practice squad, you at least started in college football. So motherfuckers know who you are. You can
Yeah.
start a little podcast
Mm-hmm.
or you know what I mean? Get you a YouTube channel or some shit
You
it's
do a
for
whole
some
bunch of
extra
shit with
income.
200K.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
there's some shit that can be done if
for
you play
sure.
your cards right.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and let's go into the Fire Flames, bro.
Cool, let's do it.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right. So what you got?
All right, so first watch, obviously there's a lot of known actors in this movie, but some usual characters that he tend to use a lot. I was surprised to see Jada Pinkett Smith in this. I had no idea that she was in this movie. Love seeing Yasiel Bega here. I think Mos Def is one of the most underrated rappers and actors. Like
Mm.
I think for when it comes to rappers turn to actors, his name don't really get brought up.
But
But
he's one of the top,
yes,
for
he
sure.
really is. He's fucking hilarious. Like he in
Yeah.
Brown Sugar, yo, that motherfucker was funny as fuck. Boy,
Hey,
when he was trying to holler at Queen Latifah, yo, that shit was
yeah,
so
but I'm gonna
funny.
tell you,
But
16 blocks with him and Bruce Willis.
yeah, 16 Blocks was straight
Yeah,
too. I like
that
that
was a
too.
good joint.
But the noticeable actors, I get the messaging. I'm not the biggest fan of like message movies. Well,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to especially like this type shit, because it's not as far as slave movies, but it's a not a hint of it, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like
Oh,
it's a
I know exactly
sprinkle
what you
of
mean.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm gonna give this. I would give Bamboozled with one watch. Um, for what it is, I give it a 3.5
That's not bad at all. That's not
because
bad at all.
I think that like the one thing is like you brought up a great point where he knew where to make certain shit funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a really, really good job with that of like knowing when to throw the jokes in there, knowing
Mm-hmm.
when to make the shit serious, and having a good balance of that shit. I think he did really well at balancing this shit out and
Yeah.
also calling out America, with the Timmy Hill nigger stuff and
Mm-hmm.
the malt liquor and all that type stuff. All of it is genius of how he did it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
So like I said earlier, I already told you guys that I'm giving it a 5, but like I said, this is one of my favorite movies. However, the reason that I give it a 5 is because this was made in 2000. 23 years later, this still holds up as far as black people and being in entertainment, black people not being as spread around in these corporate settings and having positions in these corporate settings, the lack of diversity. Um Notice that in that whole movie, the only black people you seen was Pierre and Sloan in those office settings. You know what I'm saying? Talking to
Hmm.
people who feel like they're connected to a culture that they really don't have any idea about. And I'm speaking of Dinwiddie. And shout out to Michael Rappaport again playing that role so well. And I think the reason that he play excuse me, he plays that role so well is because him being from New York and him having been around hip hop and so many other things for majority of his life. And you know what I'm saying, like being around people. I'm sure we already know about Rappaport and his connections and shit like that. But that's, you know what I'm saying, like those are the type of things that you need in a movie like this. Like you need somebody to really look at and be like, I do not like that dude. And for the longest time, I used to hate Rappaport because he played Dinwiddie. Until you actually put me onto his podcast and I started listening to him and realizing like, okay, this dude is nothing like this because he played it so well. He played this
Yeah,
like pompous ass, prick ass, racist ass person. But the truth of the matter is that he's really just from New York. I feel like if he'd been from anywhere else, he wouldn't be that good in this role. Um, but not only that, it's the imagery of this movie, right? It's when it's showing clips and you know what I'm saying, and pictures and posters and cartoons of you know what I'm saying, the you know what I'm saying, the racist tones and the imagery of you know what I'm saying, the hatred for black people in America. You know what I'm saying? Us, you know what I'm saying, having to fight out of not even being second class citizens, you know what I'm saying, really not even consider being human to jump to get the second class citizen and then to jump to actually still fight the, you know what I'm saying, still try to get to be citizens, you know what I'm saying? Um Not only that, just the one thing that I always appreciate about Spike Lee when he makes these movies is he always makes sure that niggas are educated. I don't give a fuck what part of it is. Everybody in this bitch is educated. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go down to Womack and you know what I'm saying, he looking at the shit and he like, yo, this some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? When you go down to Man Ray and he, you know what I'm saying, he see that this ain't right and him and Sloan having conversations. You know what I'm saying? Even though he wasn't college educated, he was still street educated. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mhm.
so the one thing that I love about Spike Lee's movies is that regardless of the situations, we are always in some form of intelligence, whether it be, you know what I'm saying, from whatever spectrum or whatever part of the spectrum, it's always some form of intelligence amongst the characters. And this really showed a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Even when you got to the Mau Mau's with Big Black and all them, and you know what I'm saying, the shit that they was rapping about, even the beginning of the song when he, you know what I'm saying, doing the poem in the beginning of the song, I thought that was funny. Also, shout out to MC Search for playing the 116th Mau Mau. I thought that shit was hilarious too. The white dude in the Mau Mau group, that shit had me fucking rolling. Um, but for the most part, man, this to me, this like I said, this movie just holds up so well. This movie aged perfectly to me. I see various similarities in today's, you know what I'm saying, entertainment factor that I see on this here. And that's why I got to give it a 5, man. It couldn't be a better blueprint. I'm be honest with you.
Cool. I'm with it.
All right, man. So next let's get into coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right, so the next episode we are doing an appreciation episode, and we are going to talk about one of the oldest living people on the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Yeah, man. That nigga was in Happy Days.
No, he was in Andy Griffin show.
Same thing, nigga. That's even worse. That shit was in black and white. You know what I'm saying? That shit was in black and white, bro.
Oh shit,
What?
you stupid.
I swear Ron Howard was in Happy Days, bro.
Look, he might have been. I just remember him in
Hold on,
in
man. Yeah, bro. He was
in Happy Days too?
Yeah, he was in Happy Days. He was fucking hold on, what was his name in Happy Days? What the fuck is his name?
I don't know. But all
Richie Cunningham, yeah.
See, I didn't watch Happy Days. I mean, the
Oh,
only
yeah.
reason I even saw the Andy Griffin show because like my grandma used to have it on and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, all I'm gonna say is, and I know we shouldn't.
What
do
the
this,
fuck? Who did he play in the Andy Griffith show?
He was Andy Griffin's son.
You get the fuck out of here.
Dude, the show started with Andy Griffin walking with the damn son.
Yeah, with the whistling song. I know that. I'm saying,
Yeah.
but that's him.
That's Ron Howard, the kid.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Dude, look it up.
What?
That's him. He's the kid in the Andy
This
Griffin
nigga
show.
was Opie too? This nigga was Opie and Richie. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. I just learned something new today. I never knew that, bro. I knew
that.
he was Richie Cunningham, but I didn't know this nigga was Opie.
See, I didn't know. See, look, you taught me about Happy Days. I thought you about Andy Griffin show.
Bro.
But everybody
and then
knows
I
it.
just found out another thing. This nigga, this is Bryce Dallas' daddy.
You didn't know, dude. You didn't even see. That's the thing. You didn't let me get that. I was just. So when I kept saying all I know, you heard me say that, right? I kept saying all I know is, and what my end of my sentence was gonna be. I don't know who her mama is, but she bad. Okay, I know we shouldn't do this.
Mama.
We shouldn't do this.
Howard.
But man, let me tell you something. Bryce Dallas. Okay, this time to end the pod.
For sure. Okay. For sure. Man. But no,
Bryce?
that's crazy, bro. Man. That's what's up, man. All right, so y'all, man, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all stay tuned in, man. Make sure that y'all here for that episode. If you enjoyed Bamboozle, if you didn't enjoy Bamboozle, if you too know that niggas is a beautiful thing, hit us up on socials, on Instagram and Twitter at Viewer9Pod, on Facebook VA Pod Watch Group. We also have a community on Twitter or X that you can go to, Viewers Anonymous. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit the subscription. We have 10 paid episodes that you can enjoy, listen to, stream, all that good stuff. It's only $2.99 a month. You won't be disappointed. They're great episodes. Go tune in, hit that button and join in. Also, if you like to follow me, my name is Scooch Bronson on Twitter. You can follow me there. I got a link tree in my bio, and that's all I got, bro.
And y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and on Twitter, or X or whatever. at 28 minutes or less pod. They're just on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. New episode alert. Episode 136 is out in the world. I went back to my gangster series and I did Monster Cody. You know what I'm saying? One of the 8 trade gangster Crips. You know what I'm saying? Go check out the story of him. You know what I'm saying? He wrote a New York Times bestseller, which flipped his whole fucking life upside down, but he has a very, very interesting story, man. So go check that out on all major platforms. That's all I got.
That's what's up, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for showing your support and appreciation. We definitely wouldn't be here without it. But like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.